Have you ever looked at your garden during a hot summer afternoon and wondered, how can everything look so thirsty after all the watering I've done? You're not alone. Every summer, thousands of gardeners spend more time with a hose than enjoying their gardens. Water bills climb higher, flowers begin to droop, tomatoes struggle through the heat, and many people believe the answer is simply more water. But what if the real secret isn't watering more? What if it's growing smarter? Today, I'm going to introduce you to 15 remarkable plants that thrive with surprisingly little water once they're well established. These aren't miracle plants, they still need care, especially when they're first planted, but they can be excellent choices for gardeners who want a beautiful, lower maintenance landscape. And to tell this story, I'd like you to meet someone special. His name is Walter Brooks. Walter was 83 years old. His knees weren't what they used to be. His back reminded him every morning that he'd spent a lifetime working the soil. But every sunrise, before the neighborhood came alive, he could still be found walking slowly through the little garden behind his white cottage. He carried two things every morning: a wooden walking stick and a steaming mug of black coffee. The neighbors often smiled when they saw him. Still gardening, Walter? He'd grin beneath his faded straw hat. As long as the garden still needs me. For more than 50 years, Walter had grown vegetables, herbs, flowers, and fruit trees in the same backyard. People assumed his secret was expensive fertilizer. Others thought he watered all day long. Some even joked that he must have hidden irrigation pipes buried beneath the soil. Walter simply smiled. If you choose the right plants, they'll do more of the work than you think. One July afternoon, Walter's grandson Ethan came running through the garden gate. "Grandpa, you need to come outside." Walter slowly stood from the porch swing. "What is it?" "The Johnsons' garden." They walked across the street together. The scene was heartbreaking. Wilted tomatoes, brown flower beds, dry herbs, shriveled peppers. Mrs. Johnson stood in the middle of the yard holding a garden hose. "I don't understand," she sighed. "I water every day. My water bill keeps going up, but everything still looks miserable." Walter gently knelt beside one of her flower beds. The soil was dry on top, but that wasn't the only problem. He looked around the yard. Every plant seemed to demand constant watering. Beautiful plants, but many weren't the best match for long, hot, dry spells. Walter stood and smiled kindly. "May I show you something tomorrow morning?" Mrs. Johnson nodded. "I'll try anything." The next sunrise, she walked into Walter's backyard carrying nothing more than a notebook. Then she stopped. Her eyes widened. Walter's garden looked greener than hers. The lavender was covered with buzzing bees. Rosemary bushes filled the air with their fresh fragrance. Sedum spilled gently over the edges of stone borders. Purple coneflowers swayed in the morning breeze. The ornamental grasses danced effortlessly in the wind. Everything looked peaceful. Everything looked alive. Yet Walter hadn't watered most of those established plants in days. Mrs. Johnson stared in disbelief. "How is this possible?" Walter smiled. "I stopped asking which plants looked the prettiest. I started asking which plants could take care of themselves." He handed her a small basket. Inside were cuttings of rosemary, thyme, and sage. "These," he said, "are just the beginning." He explained that many Mediterranean herbs naturally evolved in regions with hot, dry summers and well-drained soils. Once established, they often require less water than many traditional garden plants, making them popular choices for water-wise gardens. Mrs. Johnson quickly began writing. Walter chuckled. "Don't worry. By the time we're finished, you'll know 15 plants that can help you create a beautiful garden without feeling tied to the hose every single day." Ethan looked at his grandfather. "So that's your real secret?" Walter smiled. "No, my real secret is listening to nature. Nature has already chosen the strongest plants. We simply have to notice them." As the morning sun rose higher, butterflies drifted through the lavender while bees hummed quietly among the flowers. Mrs. Johnson looked around in amazement. "This garden doesn't just survive. It seems happy." Walter nodded. "The best gardens don't fight the weather. They learn to work with it." He picked up the basket and began walking slowly toward the first plant. "If you're ready, let's meet number 15. Walter led Mrs. Johnson and Ethan down the narrow stone path that wound through his backyard. The morning sun was still gentle, and a cool breeze carried the scent of herbs through the air. "You don't need a large garden to grow wisely," Walter said. You simply need to grow plants that belong where you live. Mrs. Johnson nodded, ready to write. Walter stopped beside a silvery green shrub covered with tiny purple flowers. Bees moved from blossom to blossom without any encouragement. Plant number 15, lavender. Walter gently rubbed one of the flower spikes between his fingers. Smell this. Mrs. Johnson smiled immediately. It's wonderful. Lavender doesn't just smell beautiful, Walter said. Once it's established, it tolerates dry conditions well, especially if it's planted in full sun and well-drained soil. He explained that overwatering lavender is often a bigger problem than underwatering because its roots dislike constantly wet soil. So the less I fuss over it, the happier it becomes. Walter laughed. Exactly. They walked a few more steps until they reached a row of fragrant herbs. Plant number 14, rosemary. Walter clipped a small sprig. This has seasoned my meals for over 40 years. He explained that rosemary naturally grows in Mediterranean climates, making it well suited to hot, sunny locations with excellent drainage once established. Ethan smiled. So, it's useful and beautiful. And the bees love it, Walter added. Nearby grew another low, woody herb. Plant number 13, thyme. Mrs. Johnson almost stepped over it. It's so small. Walter smiled. Small plants often do the biggest jobs. He explained that thyme spreads slowly across the ground, helping cover bare soil while needing relatively little water after becoming established. It even grows happily between stepping stones. Mrs. Johnson quickly circled it in her notebook. Just beside it stood another familiar herb. Plant number 12, sage. Walter gently touched its soft gray-green leaves. Sage is one of those plants that asks for very little. It enjoys sunshine, dislikes soggy roots, and rewards you with years of fresh leaves for cooking. Mrs. Johnson laughed. So my kitchen garden can actually save me work. Exactly. As they continued, bright yellow flowers danced above delicate stems. Plant number 11, coreopsis. Ethan smiled. Those look cheerful. They are, Walter replied. Coreopsis, often called tickseed, blooms for a long season in many gardens and handles heat well once established. It keeps flowering when many other plants begin to tire. Walter then stopped beside a group of tall purple flowers filled with butterflies. Plant number 10, purple coneflower echinacea. Butterflies floated from flower to flower. Mrs. Johnson watched in amazement. I've never seen so many pollinators. Walter nodded. Coneflowers don't just brighten the garden. They provide nectar for bees and butterflies, and their seed heads can attract birds later in the season. He explained that once established, coneflowers are known for tolerating periods of dry weather better than many flowering plants. Finally, Walter pointed toward a border filled with thick, fleshy leaves. Plant number 9, sedum stonecrop. Mrs. Johnson bent closer. These leaves feel different. Walter smiled. They store water. He explained that many sedum varieties have succulent leaves, allowing them to cope well with dry conditions once established. They're excellent for sunny borders, rock gardens, and places where many other plants struggle. Ethan looked around the garden. So none of these plants need daily watering. Walter shook his head gently. They all need regular watering while they're getting established. But after their roots become strong, many of them require much less attention than thirsty plants. He paused beside the old bird bath. You know what most gardeners get wrong. Mrs. Johnson looked up. They believe every beautiful garden must be difficult. Walter smiled warmly. But nature has already created plants that know how to survive. Our job isn't to fight nature. It's to work with it. Mrs. Johnson looked around once more. The lavender buzzed with bees. The rosemary stood tall. Butterflies circled the coneflowers. The thyme filled the air with fragrance. The sedum glowed beneath the morning sun. For the first time in weeks, she felt hopeful. Walter picked up another basket filled with young plants. We've only met 7. The next 8 may surprise you even more. He smiled as he walked farther down the garden path. And one of them has survived every hot summer I've ever known. Walter smiled as he picked up the woven basket. Mrs. Johnson and Ethan followed him deeper into the garden, where the morning sun illuminated another section of plants that looked as fresh as if it had rained the night before. Mrs. Johnson shook her head. I still can't believe these plants look this healthy. Walter smiled. That's because they've learned to work with the weather instead of fighting it. He stopped beside a row of tall plants with beautiful yellow blossoms reaching toward the sun. Plant number 8, a black-eyed Susan. These flowers, Walter said, have brightened my garden for years. He explained that black-eyed Susans are well known for handling heat and periods of dry weather once established. They bloom for weeks, he added, and butterflies seem to love them. Mrs. Johnson smiled. So they're beautiful and hardworking. Exactly. Just beside them stood graceful clumps of narrow green leaves moving gently in the breeze. Plant number 7, ornamental grasses. Walter ran his fingers through the soft blades. Many ornamental grasses ask for very little once established. He explained that varieties such as fountain grass and little bluestem are valued in many gardens because they tolerate heat, add movement, and provide year-round interest. They make a garden feel alive. They continued until Ethan noticed a patch of bright green leaves growing beneath a young tree. Plant number 6, yarrow. Clusters of colorful flowers stood proudly above delicate fern-like foliage. Walter smiled. Yarrow has been growing in gardens for generations. He explained that yarrow tolerates sunny conditions and periods of drought once established, while also attracting beneficial pollinators. Mrs. Johnson carefully wrote another note. The bees certainly approve. Walter laughed. They usually know best. The next stop surprised everyone. Instead of flowers, there was a vegetable. Plant number 5, okra. Tall green stalks reached confidently into the warm summer air. I thought vegetables always needed lots of water, Ethan said. Walter shook his head. Some do, but okra is remarkably heat tolerant. Once it's established and growing well, it can handle hot weather better than many common vegetables. Although it still benefits from watering during prolonged dry spells. Mrs. Johnson looked impressed. I've never thought about growing okra. You might be surprised how productive it can be. Walter walked toward another vegetable bed. Large, healthy leaves spread confidently across the soil. Plant number 4, Swiss chard. This is one of my favorites, Walter said. It keeps producing leaves for months. He explained that Swiss chard is often more heat tolerant than many leafy greens and can continue growing through warm weather if watered appropriately. It gives you harvest after harvest. The path curved toward another section filled with cheerful yellow flowers. Plant number 3, blanket flower gaillardia. The blooms glowed like little sunsets. Walter smiled. Blanket flowers are incredibly generous. They bloom for a long season and are known for tolerating dry conditions once established. Butterflies drifted from flower to flower. It seems every butterfly in town knows about this place, Ethan laughed. Walter winked. They're smarter than we think. They reached a rocky corner of the garden where bright pink flowers spilled over the stones. Plant number 2, moss rose portulaca. Mrs. Johnson bent down. These flowers are beautiful. Walter nodded. Moss rose loves sunshine. Its fleshy leaves help it store water, making it a popular choice for containers, borders, and rock gardens in hot, sunny locations. It opens its flowers when the sun shines. Finally, Walter stopped beside the oldest plant in the entire garden. A magnificent shrub stood proudly beside the front porch. Its silvery leaves glistened in the morning light. Plant number 1, Russian sage, or an alternative such as salvia, depending on local suitability. Walter gently touched one of the stems. This plant has seen more summers than I can remember. He explained that many salvias and plants commonly known as Russian sage are valued for their ability to thrive in sunny, well-drained locations with relatively modest watering once established. They also provide long-lasting color and attract pollinators. Mrs. Johnson looked around the garden once more. So this is your secret? Walter smiled. No, the secret isn't one plant. It's choosing plants that fit the place you live. He continued. I used to believe a successful gardener was someone who worked harder than everyone else. But age taught me something better. A successful gardener is someone who works with nature instead of against it. The three of them sat quietly beneath the maple tree. The breeze carried the scent of lavender. Bees hummed softly among the flowers. Butterflies floated above the coneflowers. The garden seemed peaceful, almost effortless. Mrs. Johnson closed her notebook. I came here looking for ways to save water, but I'm leaving with something much more valuable. Walter smiled. What's that? She looked across the garden. Peace of mind.